wants to pop up on my screen. I guess not. I guess it just doesn't want to pop up yet. Welcome in, welcome in. How we doing? I have to use my phone to look. I can't. It's not working on my computer. There we go. Welcome in, welcome in. Yeah, the pre-new moon's going well. It's going well. I can't complain. I cannot complain. Yeah, that's the button. I'm happy to be here. I've just been busy all day, and I'm also starting telekinesis training. So I'm just busy. I'm just busy. Weekend was good. My weekend's been slow, honestly. My weekend's been super slow. What does that mean? Hold on. Oh, there we go. Students. But yeah, there's been a lot that I've been doing recently. I don't know. Everything's finally coming together, I guess. I'm trying to figure out how to time manage it all. Because there's still more that's going to be happening on top of already what I'm doing now. So I have to like figure out how I'm going to move this. And yeah, I got you. What are you wanting the draw on? I got you. Nice. I mean, that's just how it is. Everything does feel like it's coming together. What happens? That's just called clairvoyance. Whatever comes out, okay. But yeah, I can get you for that. Awesome. Glad to hear that, Kayla. Okay. But your card is the double reverse. With the double reverse, what you're needing to know definitely is to know that you're not as stuck as you think. To know that you have unbound yourself from something that you feel stuck in, or if you feel as if like you haven't healed from something, or detached, removed, or you haven't calmed down, or you still feel like you're getting affected negatively or poorly by something. It's to tell you that you've already detached from it. It's that old memory. It's that part of you that wants you to go back to it. The rational mind that's used to that cycle, that's built off of that cycle, that's only popping up when that happens. You've already moved on from an energy. You've already moved on from a presence, and you're needing to just kind of actualize that more, and live through that. And overall, even then, learning to detach could be something that is what you're needing to do as well. Learning to detach from things, learning to not let things and flare your senses to the point of not knowing where you're going, you know. But that's the card that you got for what you need to, you know, which is, you know, what you needed to hear. I got you, no worries. Hey, welcome, welcome. How we doing? How we feeling? That's what I forgot to do. I knew I was forgetting to do something. I was sitting here trying to think about it. And here it is. There we go. Thank you. I appreciate love that. I do my best at least. You know what I mean? I try. Oh dang. Welcome in, Lisa. But that's crazy. That's good. The and the secret to like mental magic is the only way someone can do mental magic is if they get into your mind. If they can, you know, get a hunch to make themselves seem more powerful or like seem like a threat to you mentally, then that mental magic can take effect as long as you always remember that that person doing the thing isn't even more powerful than you, you know. They're, even though they may be attuned to it on the physical, that doesn't remove the fact that you're still connected to the all in the spiritual. So no one is ever really more powerful than anyone else. It's just more of how attuned you are to yourself. So just remembering that aspect of it and how the spiritual always comes first in that realm, the mental magic wouldn't necessarily be a thing. Exactly, I got you. No worries. Welcome in, welcome in. How we doing? How we feeling? How we doing? How we feeling? Welcome in, Steven. How we doing? How we feeling? Heck yeah. Well, that's good. At least I'm glad that you're finding, you know, ways to ground yourself and you know, to help, you know, transmute those low vibrational thoughts. And like, you know, it's always good to remember that people only make fun of things that they don't understand, you know. So, you know, when people mock someone for something, it's just because they don't understand it. If they did understand it or have like any knowing of it, you know, they wouldn't have a reason to, you know, to look at it in such of a way like that. So, you know. No worries. No worries. Yeah, we're doing cards. And welcome in, Synth. How we doing? How we feeling? We doing cards. I'm multitasking as always. But yeah, we doing carpools. We doing carpools. We're doing like, you know, talks about tarot, things of that nature. The angels got for you. Which one? The power angels or the prayer angels? Power got you. All right. So your angel card is Epiphany or with Archangel Raziel. Joy through spiritual growth, be a light to others, answers that come through meditation. So definitely, meditation at this time is definitely key. Um, but as well as being aware of just an epiphany happening of just, you know, a sudden a click. So just being aware of that, enjoying the journey that you're on as well, the part of it that you're at. It's important to you gotta meditate. It'd be important to do that. Yeah, definitely. Getting back into meditation. You know, getting back into all that stuff is important. Well, you gotta convince your brain. That's the thing. You gotta convince your rational mind that it's worth your time doing it. You know, if you don't feel like doing it, you won't do it. So you have to sometimes convince yourself to be wanting to do those things. I feel that sense. Yeah, because the rational mind, it has its own free will as well. That's why you argue with yourself. That's why part of you will say no when one party says yes. It's your free will. Two parts need to have free will, and one that doesn't have any need for free will because it's connected to the mother, it's connected to the divine. You know, you want to use your free will, for the benefit you, in a way that from the heart space, but the rational mind wants to benefit the things, and the things around you, the fleshly matters of things. And it's about balancing that out, convincing the rational mind that, hey, doing this, which is going to be beneficial to me, in my heart space and to me spiritually, is going to actually benefit me on the physical. And that's the trick of it. Welcome in, y'all. Welcome in. How we doing? How we feeling? How are we doing? Very beautiful day. It has been a very, very good day. I haven't got anything like video wise done, unfortunately, but I got a lot of other things done. The major arcana videos are gonna take fucking forever. I don't. 8. 8 is the test. 8 is like seeing if what you have is even good, if it's worth working on anymore. It doesn't mean infinity. Infinity would be a circle. Um, the figure 8 has a middle point, so it's not really infinite. It has a stopping point where it intersects. But 8 is all about that test of seeing if something's durable, seeing if something's actually going to be lasting, if the effort is needed to take to like the final creation, like the pre-build, the beta test of things. That's what 8 represents in that sense. And the test is the test of time. And that's the. That's why I get really confused by a lot of people who say the figure 8 is infinity. It's not, because like infinity doesn't have an end, and the figure 8 clearly has a segment where it intersects. It has a point of origin. A circle doesn't, because you can start it from anywhere, but a figure 8 has a point where it's going to actually cross and be like two different. Yeah, it can definitely be a test of that nature as well. It's it's just, it truly just is a test. Hold on, let me pull up the chart, and I can break it down even more for you. with the chart. No, the enclosed Jesus fish is the Vices pesca, which is what you get when you have the Venn diagram. That is the that's what that is. Hold on, where the heck is it's up here? Excuse me. Okay, now excuse me. 8 is completion. 9 is the test. 8 is completion. That's what it was, right? It's heaven as a partner, a completing work and action. So this is the completion phase of things. 9 is the test. My bad. 8 is the completion, where your mind is being involved with heaven, or the heart space in that sense. So, with it being like, staying consistent and committed, you know, are you willing? Are you able to, to pull it through? Is basically what it's asking you. But it's telling you to pull through, to pass this, to keep moving forward. Something's been completed. So don't push so hard, or worry so hard and stress so hard on it. And what do I heal? I heal the soul. That's, I guess if you want to ask that, I heal the soul, or whatever. And can you get reading? Yeah, what do you need reading on? And person of interest? I mean, not really. You can't really get a reading on someone else. That's not how tarot works. You can get a reading on yourself and figure out, like, that, but not on anyone else. Because you're not really wondering about that individual. You're wondering more about yourself and why you are there in present. And yeah, you can ask. I don't know what that means, but you can ask if you need. Yeah, I'm having a well day. I've been a lot more alert today than I used to be the past days, so that's better. A blessing that are coming or divorced. That's not what tarot is really used for. It's not used for future prediction, so because you can't really predict the future, that's a lie. Pull you a card on what? General reading? Okay, I mean, sure. So your card is the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is all about the nurturing of the feeling. So right now, whatever you're feeling, you're needing to nurture it. Whatever is guiding you to move forward from the heart space, not the mind space, not the thoughts that have feeling, but the feeling from the heart space, the true, authentic, pure feeling. The thing that's actually driving you to something that's comforting rather than stressful. What is that taking you to? What's that doing? Nurturing those things, nurturing those feelings is what needs to happen. That's what you're being asked to do. That's really what you need to know right now. It's just to nurture those feelings that are driving you towards more peace rather than following feelings that are leading you towards stress or disastrous phase. I can't really pick up on where your relationship's heading because you can't pick up on things on other people. I just said, what do you want me to pull a card on for? I didn't ignore you. You just didn't hear my response. That's not on me. That's on you, buddy. You're fine, Daniel. No worries. I got you. No worries. You're all good. No worries. Ain't no stress over here. Ain't no stress over here. Let's see what comes up. Okay. All right, so Modi, your card is the Six of Wands reverse. The Six of Wands is Jupiter and Leo. With it being in reverse, that's talking about bad luck. This is bad. This bad luck, this bad acquirance of things, isn't really coming from any sort of outside source. It's coming from the inside source. A lack of belief in stuff, a lack of that flame, that Leo energy, that leadership quality. You know, the fire, the fixed fire, the stable fire, right? It needs to be brought up, and the way it's going to be brought up is with the numerology of six. You know, the spiritual self interacting with things in a spiritual sense rather than a physical sense, seeing things from a higher point of view, seeing things from a more rounded space rather than a squared space is what's going to really help you move forward in a more victorious way, or in a way that's more fitting towards like where you're wanting ahead. So really look at things, or look at your situation, or just look at things in general in a higher way, in a different light. You know, if you're thinking of something being bad, find a way to think of it being good. You know, end up seeing not necessarily the benefits, but how someone would, you know, consider something being good. You know, accepting that other mind frame being of existence, and, you know, making things more whole will help things feel less of like a burden and more of fuel for you to move forward. I mean, that's not really what tarot is used for either. I don't really know what you're wanting to know, because you already have everything you need. If you're worrying about winning, if you're going to have something, you have everything you need already internally. It's just about if you're going to access it correctly and use it wisely. Well, people who ask for future don't know how to read tarot, and if you're getting readings about the future, you're getting scammed and lied to. So you should probably not do that anymore if you want to keep your money. You cannot predict the future. It's impossible. With the way quantum physics works, the way this realm works, it's impossible. Someone could say you could be a millionaire by tomorrow, but the fact that you blinked too soon has now put you in a different reality where you're not there. It's impossible to do it because that person doesn't know who you are. They can read your fate, they can bring you towards fate, and that's what they're doing, is they're making you run in circles and believe that the future could be there, in a higher place when it's really not. So they can sell you that dream. Tarot is used to get you on your path of destiny, but no one's using it to get you on the path of destiny. They're keeping you stuck with fate, which is why a lot of people say that tarot is demonic, because unfortunately Iblis and the Jinn have a lot of control over what tarot is right now, unfortunately, because of misinformation and people just being blind to the truth of it due to years of it being covered up, originally covered up due to the Gypsies and Kemetites, you know, keeping the secrets hidden. But Tarot is about your destined path, about how you walk with your soul, about remembering that you are a twin individual. The keys, two keys, the two heads are better than one. These sayings of where there are two in you, the fact that you argue with yourself, that there's two people in you. There's the other there's the masculine in you, the rational mind that's focused on the external, and the feminine, the intuitive mind, the part that's focused on the internal, the spiritual. And you're in the middle, the observer of both those realms as you're walking down. And tarot tells you the story of walking down that path, how you can, it shows you how you steer off the path. It shows you how to stay on the path using the art of tarot. And the art of tarot is is a religion of life, an old religion. It was the old way of life. We are already in the new age, the new religion, really. The old religion is the new world order that people are kind of afraid of, is just going back to the old ways, which were beneficial to people and not, to those who want power. But you're good. But yeah, I also have a video on my channel talking about better ways to ask questions. But asking questions, like, what's preventing me from seeing XYZ? What's preventing me from believing that I can do this? What's preventing me from doing this? What can I do to better my business? Why, what can I do to, move myself forward? Personal questions to get you to move closer towards your destiny and away from fate or what you're wanting. People can't tell you what angels are with you with the cards. People can't tell you what gods are around you with the cards. It's a bunch of bullshit. People are lying to people. You're not testing your spirits. You're not spiritual. You've been encaptured by like a spell, and a lot of people have at least. But you know, I use this channel and it's newer videos, not its previous videos, but it's newer ones to expose that, the lives and stuff. I do tarot classes. I talk like all sorts of stuff on tarot. I'm a tarot teacher. My mentor is one of the top rated readers in the world. And we're just breaking the secret stone. Yeah, there's more archangels than Michael. Everyone wants Michael because everyone wants to feel protected and defended. But it's like, dude, not everyone. Like Michael's not the only angel, dude. Like I don't know. Not everyone is able to be in the blue light. The light of Michael is blue, and an angel is just an angle of light. The tone of Michael is a blue tone. Well, not Michael because it's the English translation, but the galactical tone, which would be, a frequency of color, is blue. Welcome in, Bobby. Love you as well. Welcome in, welcome in. But yeah, I do my best to break the myths of like tarot over here. Because a lot of like, first of all, like you can ask like your tarot readers what tarot is, and if they can't answer that, don't get reading from them. How the hell are you reading tarot cards if you don't know what tarot is? That's the whole thing that's on the card is that's tarot. But people don't know that. People don't look at what's on the box actually. They just look at it as like, oh, it's a tool to do this, but they don't know the art form of tarot. This is why like everyone either says the same thing or everyone does like different styles of readings because like they're not familiar with like the woodworkings of it, the roots of it. And yeah, you can get a reading. Wait, I got you. I got you. I got you, Cushy. So, your card is the Four of Pentacles reverse, and with the Four of Pentacles reverse, it talks a lot about letting go of things on the physical. The Pentacles are the only card talking about the physical reality of things. You may need to let go of something happening on the physical. You might be needing a reaction to happen. You might be wanting someone to come towards you, or you might want to go to someone else, or just having some interaction on the physical or something on the physical to move in order for that healing to take place, and that's not how it needs to work. There could also be things on the physical that you need to let go of to make room for this. You might not be spending the appropriate amount of time to get yourself into that heart space. You might be too focused on time as well, with it being the Four of Pentacles. Just being so focused on times, like, I don't know if I have enough time to like really get down into it, or trying to like rush it, or not taking enough time to really thoroughly dig through the internal parts of stuff. But whatever the case is, you need to release the control of it. We like to, when we heal, we like to try to control what comes through when we heal. But sometimes when we do go through these healings, when we let go, we actually get down to what we need to heal from, rather than the small little blips and blaps around of the main issue. So really letting go, sacrificing the consciousness, the rational mind, for the higher calling, as well, is what's going to really help you, though. With the purple being over the red, that's the intuitive mind, or the heart space, being over top of the rational mind, or the physical consciousness, or whatever, the masculine consciousness. But in reverse, it would be the red over the purple. So really just allowing yourself to be in that intuitive mode, be in that feeling space. Whenever that random feeling comes up, and that turns to a thought that makes you feel like a weird way, or it's like you begin to think about past events, don't shush those away immediately. Let those come through. And even if you do end up pushing it away, allow it to come back slowly, and be less of a surprise to you, so that you can heal through it and see different angles of it. Got you, no worries. Yeah, the whole like twin flame stuff is just a trap. Like that, it's just a scam. It's not even like real. But people like to believe it is. It's like man-made. It's egoic. It's trying to like have ownership over something, and you don't own anything. You don't even own your soul. You are it, so you don't even own it. Why would you own it if you are it? Doesn't make any sense. You just are. The mind wants to say, oh, this is my stuff. No, it's not. You didn't make it. You bought it. You exchanged for it. It's not yours. It's whoever created it. And it's just, like, I don't know. Labels are just I don't know. I don't get it. It's such a contradiction. I mean, it's not really, because spirituality is just religion at this point. It's just not even. Well, it's really not even. It's like almost dead, basically. I don't even think spirituality is even a thing, because most people who claim to be spiritual aren't even spiritual, because they're not really living in spirit, or accepting things, everything as spirit, and treating things as such. A lot of spiritual people are still like focused on the physical, which is not spiritual. Yeah, I'll be doing shorts with the major arcana as well. Um, they'll be a little bit different. I'm figuring out how I want to go about them. Uh, because I don't want to give certain info. Well, I mean, I can. I don't think it's an issue. Yeah, I don't think it's an issue. I'm literally teaching it, so it's not an issue. I don't know why I think it's an issue. I'm the issue. Anyway, we broke that down pretty quick. Anyway, um, yeah, well, I'll be doing videos on the major arcana. I'll be doing it a little bit differently, but I'll have it'll be about the same, kind of. And welcome in. How we doing? How are we doing? I'm gonna really shock some people whenever I say the Emperor is not Aries, and they're gonna be like, "What do you mean it's not Aries? It's obviously Aries. There's rams on it." It's like, okay, and do you know what an Emperor is? Do you know what Aries is? Do you know what the word cardinal means? I don't know. Like, it's not Aries. It's Father Time. I don't know. It's so weird. Like, the more it really is, like, the more I study these cards, the more I move forward with these cards, the more I do the things that I'm doing, the more like obvious it's getting. The more it's like I should know these things now. And the more when I look at the cards, I see more of the actual card. Like when I see the magician card, I notice that detail as well. Um I don't, I don't just look at like blank things. I see all the detail of it. Like obviously I see like the shading detail and stuff of that nature, but I see like the hand positions I focus on now, the facial expressions I focus on now, like the details of things I like I see more of. So I'm actually like seeing more of what the card is. I actually am seeing it. It's not just glancing at it anymore, because we tend to glance at things. We don't really look at things. We don't take time to study them and to see what they are. Um so yeah, the more I've been studying it, the more I actually see the whole card, and the more I can actually like use it. And it, I don't know, it puts you in a different league. It puts you in a whole different league. It's so weird. I didn't even go intuitive. People who are reading tarot now are not intuitively reading. They're reading from the rational mind. There's nothing intuitive about what they're doing. It's the rational mind. That's why they all say the same thing. It's not intuitive. It's the fucking rational mind. They all are seeing out of the same lens, which is the physical is the issue. The physical is bad whenever they're the bad person, because guess what they're doing on the physical, contributing to that mess by getting that out more without, putting any sort of force against it. So the true intuitive reading comes from the heart space, comes from actually seeing and getting nurtured. What I do now is intuitive reading. It's using my mind. I'm psychically reading the cards. I'm using the card mentally and seeing it for what it is, knowing it, reading the symbology, knowing what it stands for, and actually being what a psychic would be, and using my brain to its fullest capacity to output, to change things, to use my mind to the best of its ability. That's what a psychic does. It's someone who's really well talented in the mind. Psych is the mind, and chick just means someone who's well talented, well put in a subject or in a category. That's all a psychic is. So the psychic has nothing to do with picking up spirits all over the place. That's called being a psychopomp. That's a different thing. Your mediums, and medium is average. Medium is also a selection of art forms. So what if you're a medium? What is your medium if you're a medium? What are you using? What's your tangible thing that you would be that medium of? So it's all these words that people use that's just like not right. But we're doing one card pulls today. But I can do a one card pull for that. They are very different. When you hear someone, you're not getting what they say. When you're listening, it's an action. You're listening. Hearing is a passive thing. You'll hear the birds chirp or whatever in the background, but I will turn my head and give it the attention. I'll listen to it. It's a whole thing. It's a whole system. But yeah, with your card, it is the Wheel of Fortune reverse. And with the Wheel of Fortune reverse, this does say that there is some form of fate. There's some form of rational mind that is controlling, that is guiding you at this time. So the reason why things aren't kind of feeling new or working out is because you're still working in an old way. The rational mind is in control, which is leading you down a path of fate. And that doesn't necessarily mean that something bad's going to happen, right? It just means you're at where you're at now because of where your mind has led you. There needs to be a switch of mentality, a switch of seeing things, going into more of the actual heart space. With the wings being on all four of the animals, right now you're not seeing things from an advantage point. You're not seeing things from a higher point of view. With the numerology being 10, whatever you had planned, whatever you had thought was going to happen, you might need to go back and plan more of. If you've been feeling like, oh, I need new energy, go back and plan. What can I do to bring in that new energy? What things could I do now with the energy that I have that I could spend on new things rather than still spending it on the old cycle of things? Maybe you need to leave an old way of being so that the energy that you have now it becomes more beneficial in that sense. But seeing where you're at and how you're moving with things, what direction are you kind of pointed in, and how you're wanting to move forward. Just taking time to take those introspections is really what's going to help you move forward and feel more free, feeling like the energy around you is like doing good. It's not that you're in bad luck. It's not that things are just shitty around you. It's this old pattern, this rational mind that could be guiding you. It could even be you looking at things and comparing it to like, oh, I thought it was going to be more than this. I thought it was going to be more extravagant or better. That's draining and dampening that energy and dampening that mood. That's taking away from that as well. So you might need to just see it in more of an innocent, more of a childlike way, giving it more of a vitality rather than like a demeanor in that sense. And I'm doing very well, Ash. How are you doing? Love you as well, Ash. You're doing great. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. I don't know. I'm I'm definitely feeling the shifts in energy. But today I'm still kind of just monotoned and like not in it, but I'm more like aware today, which is good. And you're welcome. I got you. Just can't wait to start the classes because that's gonna be fun. Because then I'm gonna be able to drag everything and fix it better. Yeah, we had a sea of messages that kind of flew through and pushed everything up. And it doesn't help that I'm sometimes just talking off topic from what's going on in chat. So I bounce around a lot. And welcome in, welcome in. How we doing? How we feeling? I mean, that's literally like what I do. I mean, your dream exposed my character. That's literally what I do. Playing mad? Oh, dang, heck yeah. What color and like what kind of deck do you run? I used to run like colorless artifacts and white cats angels. I had a Ajani. I had one of the Ajani planeswalkers. But for the dream, it could mean that you um are feeling as if you need to like pay or like you're owed or like you owe something to someone, but you actually don't. That's delving into that community because I was thinking about it and reading it, but um it could just be that you feel like you owe someone something, but you actually don't. It may just be because you have a lot of gratitude for someone. It could be about me. It could be about someone that reminds you about me. It could be anything, of that nature. But um, it could just feel like you owe like something, or like your gratitude for someone is making you feel almost a little bit guilty, as like you don't feel like you can give, um, or things of that nature. Working with that aspect of stuff, and that's a sacral chakra type thing as well. Um, but not just knowing that you are enough, and no matter if you can or can't do something for someone, that you know as long as you do what you can and it's not stressing you out, then you're doing all you need. Mono green and red, that's what's up. I had one of my friends, they ran mono green squirrels. The astrology's been around forever. And the astrology and stuff was talking about the Kemets and the Egyptians and Egyptians. And the reason why the pharaohs had, astrologers and magicians, the pharaohs who were there were Jews. Egypt has already been taken over at that time, which is why they were upset and why Moses and Aaron were getting the Ark of the Covenant. Aaron stole the Ark of the Covenant, which is how they split the Red Sea. Um, but you know, the astrology aspect of it comes from tarot, and tarot comes from the Cometics, the Egyptians. That's how, as far as we have with the cards. The system of tarot existed way before it. You know, it just talks about the factor of God, the arcana, the mystery. The mystic is with the deck. If you understand the deck, then you would be a true mystic. You would be inside the mystery. You would know the mystery of life, of knowing what's going on, the truth, the actual being of life. Um, but that's what's going on with astrology. The only reason why it was banned is because they were trying to keep the power in their hands. It was only banned to those who weren't in the practice and or family oracles. That's where that whole thing of like being oracle servants and doing readings for people and stuff comes from. Is they would have servants and slaves that were gypsies and Kemetites who could do those things, and they would do them for it. The slavery thing existed way, way, way before it, what we get in history, and it started way, way, way before people from Caucasus Mountains began to appear, or well, really when the gene issue happened, where like melanin became recessive, which is still kind of a mystery to this day. I don't think anyone's really solved that, which isn't like an issue. It's just like trying to figure out like the genotype, like what was the mutation. There are so many books in the Bible that it doesn't talk about. There's a book called the Book of War in the Bible. It's mentioned in the Bible. The Book of War is mentioned in the Bible. It's not in the Bible. It's not in any of the books that are. I think it's in one of the like books that are taken away. But they mention a bunch of the secret books in the Bible. They tell you up front in a lot, like these are the books that were lost, that were held. The book of this, the book of that, the book of that. The unnamed book, the book that has like the what was the I think the name was in like actual Hebrew or like Arabic. I don't know if they like changed it or not, but they're in there. Um, but they're just not. They're just talked about and mentioned, and those are missing pieces. You know, those are like we get the scrolls, the Dead Sea Scrolls. We start finding all these other tablets and shit. We can start getting those old books back, which is why Egyptologists and fucking the Vatican and shit keep people away from that, because that's what they want to change next. If they can change that aspect of it, then we won't have any more of that puzzle to solve. We'll be up to this point, which is good enough for them. If they can just keep us boxed in and squared, we're fine. But the second we become well versed and rounded and see the full spectrum of things, then it becomes an issue. But even then, they still can't even decode it. Like they're using AI to decode it, and it's working. It's still just like they don't want it out. They don't know what to do with it. And they know they can't destroy it. They can't do anything with those things because it's way too risky to be doing that shit right now. They know it's about to happen. So it's just about keeping the information down, suppressing the mind, trying to keep people away from it. And away from it, it being the truth. Not just the truth of just like of God's existence or whatever, but the truth of life itself, the truth of like everything. Like why things exist, why this whole universe exists. The creation that was created for this to exist, this world, not just Earth, not just the planets we know, but this world, this whole existence that exists. Because it's hard to talk about because we're talking about things that we can't talk about mentally, physically at all. It's something that has to just be felt if you're tuned to it. Because we're talking about the beyond. We're talking about the start, the origin of this seed that we call the universe that has birthed So it's kind of hard to talk about rather without sounding very vague or kind of like stupid, because again, these are things that we have to learn and become acceptable of that so we can understand it. We can't talk about things unless we know it. What does a seer mean? A seer is just someone that sees. A seer is someone that's seeing. Your seers are just people who have clairs, but they want to have a label to say that the label just classifies you, and that's the issue with the rational mind. They it needs a label to box it in. So oh, if you're this, then you can only do these things with what you have. So that keeps you from actually doing more with what you have, which is why you have so many energy healers who are doing like their own thing that aren't like practical practices or anything. It's because like they're not boxed into just that one way of doing it. They've left it. But there's so many there's so many labels for things. Um, but you can think of like your seers as like your clairvoyants, as your prophets, and most of your prophets are actually just clairvoyants. Um, Most of your psychics are just psychopomps or people that haven't fully controlled the ability to channel, or they are just channelers. There are people that exist who can read others' minds, but it's only because they have such of an overstanding over their own mind that they're able to project out of their own mind and see someone else for their whole character, removing their whole rational part and seeing their actual self. Those people do exist. Those are more of your advanced psychics. You know, they're not as common as you would think, but they do exist. How everyone thinks that they're this really big, powerful being, and oh, like I have all these abilities and stuff. They think that it's really powerful, but they can't access or control certain scopes of it. When you get that control, then you actually start having that power. Then you start actually seeing like, oh, this is the ability. This is what it means to be this label, right? It's a lot more. You don't just master one school. There's a whole bunch of things with it. But yeah, welcome in, Lucy. Well, tarot has nothing to do with spiritual law. That's another thing that people have a misconstruction of. And yeah, they're free readings. What brings upon the dark night of the soul is the rational mind's refusal to release control or to begin to see things in a different sense. It's just showing you that the part of your soul which is what they're really meaning by that is your spirit, your mind, right? And the dark side of it, the controlling part, the hidden parts of your mind that you're not really wanting to dive into due to fear. Your rational mind's job is to, protect you. So you end up fighting yourself and beating yourself up, internally, externally, however, and that leads you down that dark night of the soul. Releasing that control and accepting that things aren't as solid as you think they are, and that the things that you built up as comfort aren't actually comforting to you and actually more stressful. Releasing that control and needing to protect yourself from that truth and seeing it uh, helps you through that journey. Being easier on self, understanding that it's not just you. There's two in you. There's the twin individual in you, the masculine and the feminine elements in you. The one that is constantly trying to fight for your attention, and the other that simply is just waiting for you to go to it. It doesn't need you to go to it, so it doesn't call on you, but it lets you know that it's there when you need it. Yeah, you have to go through your fears. You have to escape. It's only you that can remove yourself from that dark night of the soul. You can get Reiki healings and whatever to lighten the load, but it's not going to break you through. You might just need that extra boost of lightened energy in you to move you forward. But it's all you at the end of the day. No one can help, no one can force you to do anything. No one can truly even really help you to do anything. It's you helping yourself by allowing that external force to move you. And we end up allowing the wrong external forces to move us because we're so focused on the external force that we focus on the problem and making it bigger rather than seeing the solution and the feeling that's guiding us actually. But that's what's going on. That's life. You got to find out that on yourself. Even if you look up why it's happening from someone else's perspective, that's just to guide you closer to see why it's happening to you and what you are supposed to use with that. So, even though you might be picking up on other people and what's happening for them, you really need to tap into that ability yourself and see like why is it coming to you. It is of you since it's coming to you. It's coming to help you in that sense. But it's up to you to allow that situation to help you, to allow that gift to help you, rather than to hinder you. It's the person. Energy, nothing is doing anything unless you tell it to. Like, that's the thing that people have to understand. It doesn't matter if someone's doing spell work on you. If you don't receive it, you don't receive it. The only reason why you receive it is because part of you is receiving it. Part of you feels punishable. Part of you feels like it deserves it. Part of you can sympathize with it. It's about seeing that sympathy aspect of it and seeing it if it damages you or not. If it's damaging you, then there's not an aspect of you that you need to be giving into. You know, That's one of the toxic aspects of self. So it's about seeing it in that aspect. An item can only be cursed if you hold that value on it. If someone puts their intention on cursing an object and giving it to someone, that object can in turn be cursed. But you, as the holder of the object, has to set that intention of it not being that way. That's what it is. It's that mental battle of my intention over yours. You can do whatever you want, but if I say it's going to do this for me, then that's what it's going to do for me. It doesn't matter what the other person does. It's what's happening when it comes to me. I'm transmuting it. I'm the converter. I'm using that energy to, in a way that's going to benefit me. That's what happens. Because energy has to be sent. It has to be sent somewhere. It has to be used for something. It's always going to constantly be doing something. You know, it's a non-stop flow. So even though someone, curses an object or sends energy to someone, just don't accept it as such. Someone might say, "Oh, you're really bad at what you do." That's okay. They might have just seen people that were better. That's not my problem. If they want to compare me to things that they've seen, that's cool. I haven't seen those things yet, so I don't even know. That's their opinion over a craft that they have no control over. And, same thing goes for like magic. If someone wants to do magic to halt you in your life, that's what they want. What do you want? You don't want to be halted, so move forward. Your intuitive mind will tell you, hey, do this, do that to move forward. Your rational mind will say, oh, you need to do this. Oh, you need to counter things. Oh, you need to do things on the physical to help you move forward. No, just focus on the spiritual aspect. My spirit, my energy, my source, my intention is to do this instead. So I'm gonna walk with spirit instead of the physical, and move with that aspect of self, and not be held back by that curse. A lot of mystics, modern day mystics, a lot of like modern day magic users don't really know that. We understand that everything's mental, but we forget that everything's mental. So it's actually you needing to be conscious and using your intent for everything. That's hard work for people that haven't used their mind like that. And it's exhausting work because it does take up energy. And we don't have enough energy. Want to know why? Because we're so busy focusing and running around on the physical that we're not taking time to actually nurture ourselves and rest. So the more you learn to rest, the more you learn to divvy up your time, and you spend your time more wisely, you spend your currency more wisely, which is your time, then you'll have more resources, more space, more other time, or however, to do the things that you're needing to do spiritually for yourself. Not, kumbayaing and burning candles and things, but genuinely going into the spirit realm of just relaxation, getting into nothingness, going into just the body, the self, checking on the internal needs. And that's but it's all about that intention, because like there are people who literally exercise whole areas and release areas of spirits, like thousands and hundreds of thousands of spirits at once, right? They go to areas and cleanse those areas, and it's because they themselves have so much knowledge over self, over the spirits, over the history of those places, that they know the trauma that they carry, and they know who to call on, and how to release those things. And that same thing can happen to anyone, as long as you know what you're desiring. It doesn't matter. The illusion of someone being more powerful than you is a facade. No one's more powerful than you. We're all the same. We all came from this. We all have like this same source. We're all given the same life source, the same life power. The physical reality doesn't have anything to do with power. The rational mind will make it seem that way, but that's not it at all. We've just been breeded and groomed that way. If we truly remembered who we are, we would know that we're just as powerful as them, because we are, we're not them, right? But we have the same source. We can curate the same mind. We can think like them. You can think like other people. You can mimic other people. So all you have to do is just mimic that mindset that you need. And you might say like, oh, I don't know what that mindset's like. Well, that's for you to figure out, because that mindset, even though it's its own thing, it's how you're going to interact with that mindset. That mindset shouldn't control you. You still need to be in control. So it's about how you're going to move with that mindset. Remembering things of that nature, because you're the star. Your brain is the chauffeur. Your brain's driving, but you, your soul, are the star. That's why you're in the vessel, protected by all these layers and shit. You're the star of it. Don't let the chauffeur steal the show. The butler doesn't tell people to go away. The dude, like, the butler's doing their job to go get someone if they're told to. That's the mind. Hey, heart space says to do this, so I can receive that. Okay, let's go do that. Let's figure out how that needs to be done. And it's become inverted, where now the mind is controlling the self, and holding it back and blocking it and keeping it the soul from maturing, not really growing or anything, but just maturing, really getting nurtured. Yeah, a lot of the things of pharaohs are they're not cursed, but they're protected. The only reason why people say that they're cursed is because of the protection that goes on during the mummification process. Once that protection is broke, it releases what it's what it's held onto when it's captured. The spirits that tried to attack the individual are now free in that realm, which is an issue. Um, because the Egyptian priests and stuff drew symbols on bones. They broke hippopotamus. They made like clay hippos and broke legs off of it and did all sorts of things. They sealed the tombs with all the elements for a reason. It was to entrap it and keep things safe and preserved. So when these people go open it, they're not only just releasing out all those spirits, but they're also releasing out toxins and shit. So they're fucking up way more than they should be. Um, mainly knowing it. They know those symbols are like protective symbols. They just don't give a fuck about them. Um, but since it's been in that sacred area where that place has been made for that specific thing, that energy is its own thing. It's basically an egregore at that point where it's its own being. Once that thing is broke, that seal is broke off, then it's able to do whatever. That seal is the actual physical object that those things are attached to, you know. So they're real. It really depends on the intent of it, and how much intent, how long the intent was. You know, that's where the mind comes into play. How powerful is your mind at that point, and how can you gauge that, not against someone else, but against your own self, against your own rational mind that can create all sorts of avenues and routes for you to go down. Exactly. Blood over intent. I like how you mentioned that too. Like it's it's it solidifies it a lot more in that sense. You gotta know like what was how it was made. And again that comes down to like mental to the mental plane of it. How was it processed? How was it created? What was the thought form? What was the plan that led to the physical action? And then you reverse engineer it. Why did it need to happen? For protection. So they need to do it for protection. What do they need to protect? All these things then start to blossom and grow from that. Yeah, no, never. I know someone that did, and it's not good. I'm pretty sure. Is it Good Mythical Morning? I'm pretty sure Good Mythical Morning did a blood contract, and that's why they stuck together. Who was it? Is that who they are? It's some like YouTuber thing. I think I think that's them. Someone knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, Good Mythical Morning. Yeah, they did a blood oath as teenagers, uh, for their friendship, and then they made the YouTube channel, but they can't like, they're bound to it now. I mean, y'all gotta stop doing blood binds with people. I wonder why things like not work out in your life because you blinded to someone else that has their own issues. If they're doing bad, you're gonna be doing bad because you're blinded with them. Yeah, I'm glad. Honestly, I'm glad I didn't have fucking friends growing up because like knowing all the dumb shit that people did in like middle school and high school involving like magic and shit, and me just studying it, and knowing what they were doing is just bizarre. I literally was watching people like tie themselves together for this entire life in fucking middle school, and they don't even talk to each other anymore. And it's just like I don't get it. Like everyone, like there's this one friend group of like 7 people, and all of their lives are absolute fucking the same. And they all hate their lives. Like I'm not even joking. They all like complain about their stuff all the time. And they all did a bloodbind together, so they're all gonna suffer together forever because that's what they wanted. They wanted to be together forever. That's why you don't listen to the rational mind. That shit fucks you up. It's awful. Yeah, I don't talk to anyone from my past. Like at all. The people that I talk to currently I really enjoy talking to. Um, you know. But I don't talk like everyone from the past, dude. I don't talk to anyone. People from the past have tried to come back. I just can't relate. Like there's not even like a distaste. I just they're bland. I know who they are now. There's not like it's not that they can it's not that they can't change, they just don't want to change. So I'm not interested in like going there. And for blood binds, it all depends on what kind of bind they were doing, and what the intent for was to bind. A lot of people end up getting their lives fucked up because they were like, "Oh, we're gonna be together forever," and if they start to hate each other, then that hate begins to like leak through everyone because they're all bound. They're together forever, so they're going to feel what everyone else feels. Um, but blood is considered your energy source. Um, So when you're doing blood binds, either way, you're whether you're cutting it upon your left palm on your lifeline and squeezing it into juice and drinking it, or squeezing it into wine, or however, or you're pricking your thumb and doing and signing things, or you're shaking hands with your with the lifeline cut, however that is, that's exchanging of the energies. And that binds you together with that individual. Your intent is to bind by blood, and the blood that you have is isn't really old. It gets recycled or used. The blood cells might die, but the and the plasma might be reused. But their blood is a part of your system now. So now they are part of you. Part of their energy, part of their life source is in you now, and now part of your life source is in them now. You two are bound by that spirit of blood. Um, and again, depending on the bind, if someone's doing a bunch of fuck shit, that can leech onto you if you're in that same sort of energy. Um, but breaking blood binds is not easy. you have to do some very deep ritualistic cleansings. We're not talking about your, oh, do this for 3 days or 7 days. We're talking about do this for like half a year basically. Like you have to do a lot of shit for a long time to get rid of it. I don't really know the full process because I haven't done it, and I'm not really interested in like helping people who want to do that stuff. Like you should know off the fucking top. Who think like, I'm sorry, but like listen, you shouldn't be cutting your hand and shaking your hand with other people. If you're afraid of of AIDS, why the fuck are you doing that? If you're afraid of like, well, AIDS is man made, obviously, but you never fucking know with people, dude. You never know. Fucking the chemicals in the air could fuck up something. Sexual bonds that other people can break, it's up to you to rebuild that with yourself though. The dependency of being pleasured by a sacral sense, by a sacral chakra sense, can be pleased by your own self, without sexual tendencies. And it's just about working with your sacral chakra. There are also cleanses that you can do, like spiritual baths that you can take after and before having sex, whether you're just going out with random people or with your partner, that help to sever the energetic tie as well. Well, the intent has to be to blood bind. If your intent isn't to bind to someone's blood, then you're not going to be bound to their blood. It's not, don't overcomplicate it. You know, if your intent is to donate blood to someone, it's your blood, it's your energy that you're intending on going there. It doesn't matter what the other person's intent is. They can do whatever they want. Their intent might be that, but the person receiving the blood is not receiving that blood in bad terms unless they are. If they're receiving the blood that you donated because it's for their life, it's for that purpose. You know what I mean? So it depends on the intention, on the whoever's receiving it, their intention, and in your intention, who's giving it. Anyone's intention in between doesn't necessarily matter unless they persuade something on the physical to happen. It's all, it does not matter about the middleman. The middleman doesn't fucking exist. It's all about you and the other point. Whatever happens in between is whatever happens in between. If you set it out, I'm sending you money to spend it on, I'm sending you $25 for gas. That's what that's used for. You take the $25 and spend it on fuck a game. My intent was to send it to you. Your intent was to receive that money for gas, but then to also just spend it on the game instead. You see what I mean? Or your intent changed after you got the money. Oh, I really want to buy this game, and then you did it, right? However it worked, your intent was manipulated either by the physical sense, or you kept your intent the same, or the person receiving intent was manipulated, or their intent stayed the same. But that's what we're worrying about. The fact that I sent the money through, my alarm went off. The fact that I send the money through Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo doesn't affect the intent towards you, right? It might affect the way you think on your side of things, um, because of that, because of how you're seeing things. But it's not like um, actually a cause of it. I just go to my videos. I have videos on that. Um, that would be my recommendation because I go through how to do the whole thing. They're very simple. It's just really easy protection stuff that you can just do daily and stuff. It's the Angel Defense Magic ones. You just look at that video and you have everything you need. Asking for a friend. Yeah, I get what you mean. I know exactly what you're talking about. And it really is that way. The more you know you don't know. And it's about not letting that pressure get to you. Don't allow like, oh, I don't know this stuff actually get to you. Allow that to fuel you to learn more about it. Um, you know, like, oh, I can't do this because I don't know how to do it. Well, then research on how to do it. You have the solution. I don't know how to do it. Look it up. We're in the age of the internet. We're in the age where people who know how to do things are posting how to do it for free online. So, search it up, learn how to do it, and then through your experience of learning how to do it, you might find something a better way of doing it. Whether that's healing, whether that's just applying for something, walking down a certain path, or whatever it is. I mean, you have the answer inside of you, truly. If listening to the heart space and following it fully without doubt and fear is the actual true route that will unlock you fully to your destiny. But we have the guidance of everything else in the physical realm that we can do. Uh, Not really. Age really doesn't, like, everyone has an age. Like, it just defines how old your flesh is. It doesn't go that deep. A lot of people want it to go that deep, but that's the rational mind not being able to, like, overstand um, that it shouldn't break down everything. But I'm 25. But age numbers don't correlate with experiences. The only thing that correlates with experiences is you and your actions. That's what correlates the experience of you. The numbers don't have nothing to do with it with your age. I don't know why people are saying that shit. They're just stupid and saying shit out their ass at that point. So many people who get into the spiritual community are actually just delusional and don't know a damn thing they're talking about. And what they think that they're hearing is God or the divine, and they're just listening to the jinns. Like they're not even aware of like trickster spirits. They're not even aware of how to test spirits. They just go, "Oh, I'm being told by that this is God, and that I'm channeling God right now." Like, no, you're channeling a being that has just claimed to be God, and you're dumb enough to believe that it just became God because it told you that it was God, and you don't test it to figure out what it actually is, right? And a lot of people don't look at it like that because they want to think, "Oh, but I know myself." No, you don't. You don't know yourself. You can barely remember what you ate last week. You don't know yourself. If you knew yourself, you'd be able to tell me what that was. You would know it. You wouldn't have to remember it. You would just know it off the top of your head. These are things that we don't know. You don't know how you truly feel. Sometimes, like, I don't know how I feel because you don't know yourself well enough. You haven't reached a point of yourself deep enough to know why you feel that way. Why you feel like you don't even know. You would know. You know what I mean? It's very simple. It seems rhetorical and like sarcasm or smartassy, but it's the fucking truth. It's as blank as it can get. And we have to settle with that actual fact. The rational mind doesn't want to because it's like, well, that doesn't make sense because I do, and how can I not know myself because I'm the only one that's experienced myself. No, you've experienced one half of yourself, not the other half. You've experienced the other half at certain points, but not fully. You're very versatile in your physical self and very lacking and still needing to learn in the spiritual self, which was what we're here to do. But more people focus on the physical than the spiritual still. But yeah, stuff is just fucking crazy out here, dude. A lot of people don't look deep. They can't look deep. They're afraid. Like some people are like don't like afraid of their shadow. Some people don't do shadow work because they're afraid of it, and it's like you have to do shadow work. That's like step number one. You can't. You don't want to become spiritual. You don't want to really go through your second awakening, which is your first birth. Well, your first rebirth, I should say, right? As a unhealed spirit, because then what are you going to attract? More of that unhealed spirit. You're going to be an unhealed individual. You're going to be a low vibrational spirit. on the spiritual plane, believing, tricking yourself that you're high vibrational, because your rational mind creates an illusion that everything you do is perfect. It creates you to be monotheic rather than seeing the truth of it, which would be altruism or the alter ego, the other spectrum, the full spectrum of things. But I got you. I got you, Mastery. I can get one for you. Yeah, grief work is definitely a form of shadow work. Anything that you're not feeling, anything that you're not paying attention to, anything that's shadowing you, anything that's behind or causing an eclipse, causing something to feel over you, causing darkness or something heavy to be upon you, is what shadow work is there to not remove, but to make light, to be seen and to be enlightened by. So I know I'm supposed to meditate. It's 9:09. I know I can't do it right now. I'm streaming. God dang. Sorry. I'm doing telekinesis training, and I have to meditate at 3 specific times during the day. And one of them is 9 p.m. and it's 9:09 p.m. and I'm just not going to do it just yet. I will do it after. I can remove the time barrier for now. But yeah, your one card is the Ace of Swords reverse. And the Ace of Swords reverse talks about an uncrowned thought, or a thought that is not bearing water, a thought that is not holding any sort of nutrients, not nurturing. The thought is dry. It's something that is more baneful than helpful. Be aware of this at this time. You could be in a mood where you're kind of seeing things as sour or dampening, or seeing things as harsh, or maybe even being too hard on yourself, thinking too harsh about things, thinking that things are lacking or not going to work. Pay attention to that right now, because that's not what you need to be doing. Those thoughts aren't being produced by any form of the divine. It's being produced by the rational mind, the focus on the physical. But stay very focused on that like mindset, and make sure that you're not feeding in and following thoughts that are only producing fear or stress or anxiety, and begin to focus on thoughts that are nurturing to you. And like, when you're in a panicked mood, and I'm not saying that you are, but if you ever get in a panicked mood or a frenzied mood, don't go with the thoughts that you're planning, like, oh, I need to do this and then that and that and then that. Don't do those, because doing those actions is just going to ramp up more of that pessimistic energy. Do the opposite of that. What you need to do is to calm down and collect your breath, and collect your mind and your thoughts, and see what's happening now. Time isn't moving any faster. Time's not going to move any slower. What you do, it's not going to matter. What matters is how much you're going to be able to control yourself in that environment, so that it doesn't end up being that faded reality that your mind is trying to get you to panic and work to avoid. But that working is only going to dig you closer to that faded reality. And yeah, I've been kind of called to telekinesis for a while. So I'm going through, you know, some training for it and seeing how things are with it. Yeah, I like, dude, I don't know. I really feel so much lighter um than I used to. Um like the past 2 years. Um it's been longer. The past 4 years total, really, but the past 2 years, kind of just going on this journey of, finding the truth of something, and kind of aligning more with my path is what's good. Because I mean, I was at a destiny point at one point. I really know I was, because I was panicking really bad about like what decision was supposed to make, um, and I made the right decision. Um, I could not continue doing like the old readings I was doing. and I had to like sit down and be like, okay, I have to find a way to not do this anymore because this is not what I need to do. And then after that, everything has kind of been, well, everything's been a lot lighter ever since then because I'm not overworking. I'm not using my mind as much. I'm using my heart, and it's actually able. Like, I don't know. I'm not stressed. I don't have stress anymore. I'm not anxiety. I don't have anxiety. Um, I've been a lot more detached, which I need to be. I'm not much of a workaholic anymore. I just study a lot, which is what I like to do. Um, so that's good. I used to be really bad at workaholic, but which is just an addiction to work, and an addiction is there to cover something. It's just an additive. It's adding something onto you, and I don't know. I didn't really want to, keep being a workaholic and then adding more work on. That's just not really going to help. And yeah, one day you'll be able to do it. Yeah, no. You have to be aware of a whole other aspect when it comes to bending spoons with the mind. It's less about like, I mean, like, obviously the technique is just not focusing on the matter. It's focusing on the split. You know, when you get into the feeling, the entire like embodiment of like this spoon is like not solid, it's malleable. When you can bend it within that certain frame because it's not your mind that's doing it, it's your feeling, it's your heart space, it's the knowing of all that's there. And it's not being like rationalized and like broken down by your mind. It's free flowing, it's not like directed. It actually enters the full realm of love rather than chaos, which chaos is causing destruction. Love is allowing that creation. That creation is that spoon bending. The spoon's not broken or bad. It's just morphed. It's changed states. It's dyed. It's dyed. It's changed color. It's changed form. That's all that happens. But with chaos, since it's since we're living in a realm of chaos, and a lot of people run off of chaos theory, we're faced with destruction, which is why people are afraid of death. Rather than knowing what death really is. Welcome in. How we doing? How we feeling? How we doing? How we feeling? Yeah, the meditation I'm doing, I'm literally feeling um the entire breathing process. So I'm feeling the oxygen go in through the nostrils, down the windpipes, uh into like the area where the oxygen seeps into the lungs, and then when I exhale, I imagine it like leaving that first membrane, going out and then up and then out the mouth. And I'm for 7 minutes straight, which is it was a lot easier to do when I first did it, which is good. That's a good sign for me. Um, but it was very interesting. Um, and I forgot to set the timer to tell me when I was supposed to finish. And right at like the 8 minute mark, I was feeling like time was up, and I was like, I can't like open my eyes yet because I want to make sure it's actually 7 minutes. So I did it for an extra minute, and it was really interesting. Yeah, like I do a lot of stuff in the background, kind of like that. I always do like breathing techniques and stuff, and meditations on different things, different body parts, different colors, different subjects. Even on cards, I'll sit and just stare at a card and just go blank mind. I won't think about anything. I'll just look at it and then be like, "Oh, that's different. That's a unique thing. I didn't see that there first." And you know, I'll move on from there. But I do a lot of like about meditation. It literally just had to tell me. I know exactly what you mean. I was in this spiritual community and I don't know what spirit they had. It wasn't one that I enjoyed. Uh, it was very uncomfortable. And I was very uncomfortable every time I went. So I'm glad that I stopped. How is 666 associated with blue? I've never heard that. Well, 666 is, that's just 9. If you're really wanting to talk about it. Um, but I don't know. I kind of avoided the whole like numerology thing of like looking at triple things. I break it down to a different science. The I'm only laughing, and I'm only laughing because of one thing. Um, when 666, when you look up the hex for 666, what which color are you using? If they're using the color blue, it's gonna be the color blue. Um, because by default, the hex color 666 is actually a gray. Um, and the other color of 666 that is there is actually red. It's 40% red and 30% green, 0% blue. So, I don't know what the fuck they're saying. Don't listen to them. They're all lying. They're all delusional. They're listening to devils and jinns and iblis. They're not of God. They're not chosen by the creator that they think. They're chosen by the fucking creator of Earth, and they're doing his deed instead. Um, but yeah, if we're gonna get down to it, don't listen to them. They got the Antichrist all over them, but people don't see it. The Antichrist gets you focused on physical issues and the physical reality, not the spiritual. They keep you away from the spiritual. Anything keeping you away from the spiritual is an Antichrist. It's the whole thing. What did Christ do? He removed the flesh and opened and reminded those of the spirit. So Antichrist would just close the flesh back up and be like, the flesh is the only thing you have. These readers are part of the Antichrist agenda. I don't care. Oh, I read the Bible. I don't give a fuck. Your actions are showing the exact opposite. You're not reading the Bible because you're not. I don't know what the fuck you're reading out of it, but you ain't reading it. Like, I don't know. And people don't like me saying it, but I'll say it because it's like I don't give a fuck. I'll tell the truth. I'm sorry that you don't like it. If you don't like it, then change it. Either like don't listen to what I say, or like change what you're doing. Simple as. Something's bothering you inside. Something's trying to get your attention. So move with it. Don't fight it. Because at that point, it has nothing to do with me and everything to do with you. Because I didn't give you that feeling. You accepted what I said. That's you. That's step no one on you. You accepted it. You didn't have to. You accepted it. Now it's in you. Now you're not getting rid of it. Now you're thinking about it. Now you're letting that thought create feelings. Now you're just letting that shit go off crazy. You've let your free will to now be submissive to your mindset instead of your heart space of seeing, well, yeah, maybe there is something different about this. Let me look at it in a different light. You know what I mean? Because I'm not out here saying people are like, I'm not out here name dropping. I'm not here saying this and that. I'm just telling you the basis of the facts of it. So maneuver as you will. And a lot of people don't like hearing it. Well, that's the thing. FFF doesn't need to be added to the hex. You can look up the hex number of 666 and see exactly what I'm meaning. Adding FFF is not the hex number of 666. So that's not a full truth of what they're typing. I'm just now seeing what you said, by the way. So it would still be incorrect. It would still be either gray and or red based off of the hex color of it. The FFF indicates that there is colors of white because FFFFF is white. So that indicates that there's a hue, a hue to it. I was trying. It's a tint that darkens it. The hue is what lightens it, because hue is light. I have to like go through my brain to remember that every time. Um, but that's what the F stand for in the hex. So you would be looking at the solid number of 666 for that. Um, and who has the fucking chainsaw? Or whatever that is. That ain't no chainsaw, that's a fucking bike. I can't tell the difference. I don't know. It making noise is all I know. But yeah, this is the important part. You gotta when given information, you have to look it up the way you're told. You look at it as the way you're told. Truly. Test what they're holding. Make sure what they're holding is worthy enough for you to hold. Don't just believe it. But I mean, even on the journey, it's kind of difficult to kind of even delve in and see the truth, because you're wanting the truth, and what you're given satisfies your mind enough to be the truth, but it would only be an illusion of the truth. The truth is a feeling, not a thought. You can't just think like, oh, this is the truth. It's a feeling. That's why I don't like when people go, oh, do you feel that? And try and generate that thought to create a feeling. That's a false feeling. That's fake. It's not real. That's the energetic impulse from the brain, not something coming from the divine into you. Like, have you noticed a difference between when the divine gives you a feeling and then your brain gives you a feeling? Why your chest hurts when your brain gives you a feeling, but then why your whole body becomes tingled and lighter whenever the divine gives you a feeling? That's a big indication to tell who you're listening to at that point. The brain can only give you so many tingles, and you'll notice how it comes in. If you really start to pay attention to it, you'll see the difference of how the divine comes in with theirs and how the brain creates it. The brain will then create like a thought form, an an image of a thought form, or create some form of event internally to create that, while the feeling from the divine just overcomes you in that sense. You might have a sliver of a hint of it before it fully overtakes the body, but that's just you feeling. Your first feeling is a small quiet thought. When we get into that's your intuition as well, by the way. Your intuition is it's a thought, but it's a thought that you feel and not a thought that you think. That's the difference. But because we're so polarized on thinking and using the mind rather than the heart space, we have to say it in that sense. Because until enough people walk that path of the heart space and studying it, we won't have a better way of talking about it rather than just saying the mind space. At this point, we are a mind. We are controlled by the mind, and we need to learn how to not be controlled by. Am I back? Are we good? I don't know if we're back or not. We are. Okay. Cool. I don't know where I left off at. I forgot already. I was in a channeled mode. I was deep in the heart space at that point. I was deep there, and then I seen reconnecting on the screen when I glanced up and was like, "Damn it!" So I popped out. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I talk a lot about the rational mind, so there's so much like I can't just get the rational mind to get there, but I'm good. It's all good. Nah, it happens. It happens over here. The internet here resets at random times. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Now is just one of those times it did. So it happens. So it usually takes longer to reconnect. I'm glad it didn't this time. Um, but yeah, I'm about to get off and do some things like rest, like rest and eat, because I'm hungry and I need to rest. But yeah, I mean, if anyone has any questions, I can answer those real quick. If anyone needs a card pull before I head out, let me know. I can get them. I'm not in a rush. But if not, I'll give it like 5 minutes. But if not, yeah, we'll just do the outro in like 5 minutes and stuff. What are we gonna talk? What are we gonna title this? What's the card options? The tarot deck. We have the Angel Prayer deck. We have the Archangel Power deck. The Animal Spirit deck. Voice of the Soul's Oracle, and the Shadow Tarot. Those are the options, and I need to rename this live so that it doesn't just fucking look the same. Animal Spirit, I got you. I have to look at my phone now. Let me I'll do that. Yeah, I can get you for the one for the shadow deck too. Sorry, I was typing something. I was just changing the title of this real quick so I could don't forget to, because I need to remember to start changing the titles after the streams and like at least doing that, because you know all the lives have kind of have the same title. Okay, but your animal card, Lisa, is the butterfly. The butterfly is inspired and fantastic yet fleeting. Wait, that's firefly. My bad. I said butterfly. My bad. What the heck? There it is. Okay. Butterfly, undergoing great change and transformation. The energy of butterfly is with us during periods of transition. Since air is the element of the heart, this change usually involves relationships, or if you love your job, perhaps your career. Since transition is accompanied by some amount of discomfort, be extra patient and kind during this time, especially if the butterfly is you. Let solid friends and activities support you like a cocoon, committing to one daily routine, a meal of practice or prayer done at the same time and place will do wonders for lifting a butterfly spirit. When in balance, cheerful and graceful, excuse me. When out of balance, fragile and frustrated, to bring into balance a daily routine. And you wanted one from the shadow deck, and I got you. All right, and mastery. Your card is mirrors, and it is Sagittarius in this deck. Let me get to it real quick. So, with mirrors, it's illusion, delusion, unwillingness to see your shortcomings, reflection reflecting aspects of human behavior as you sow, so shall you reap. And we're gonna get a if stop with the meditation shit. It's 30 minutes past the timer, dude. I'm going to get to it. God dang. My phone wants me to meditate more than me do right now. What the fuck? It's got me messed up, dude. Anyway, mirror. Let me read mirrors again because I guess it cut out for that whole entire thing. But mirrors is illusion, delusion, unwillingness to see your shortcomings, reflecting aspects of human behavior as you sow, so shall you reap. And it said to get an advice card after it, so I'm gonna get a advice card before we read into it to know what's going on. But the advice card is Be Thor, the symbol of Jupiter's spirit, which is great achievement, successful individual, optimism, charisma, fate, skyrocketing to success and wealth. So if you've been having suspicions of things being like shortcomings happening or things falling apart, those aren't true thoughts. Those are not true beings. There's luck on your side. There's good things happening for you. What's happening is you're in this illusion. You may be dealing with reflections of like you feeling like, oh, this isn't going to work out, or feeling bad about something in the past and having that energy come back for you. You might be thinking that that's happening to you, or just seeing events around you as bad because things are falling apart and building up. But things aren't going to be as bad as you think. With Bethor being the sign of Jupiter, there is a lot of luck. There is a lot of favor coming towards you. There is a lot of reward coming towards you. There's a need to kind of work with that mindset, the rational mind, and allow it to be calmed down, to be soothed, so that it's not going rampant and like not necessarily destroying things around you, but causing you to be in more of a panic, causing you to be more drained, have lack of energy, so that you're not actually doing what you need to do, or focusing on the aspects of things that will push you forward and actually getting the rest that you need in now, so that when the events happen in the future, you're able to really move forward, and not need that extra rest. But yeah, I am going to call the stream here. But everything's in the pinned. You know, the email's there if you need to contact me for email for my services or however. The website's in the pinned for the services as well. The donation links are in the description as well as the pinned. All this stuff's in the description as well. But regardless, thank you all for being here, for the likes, comments, share, subscribes. To the ones that did donate, whether it's energetic or financially, I truly appreciate it. But I love each and every one of you all, to the moon and back, tenfold and forever. And